Our agenda is going to be a quick review of the EOS model, and then we're going to dive in and I'm going to teach you the level 10 meeting. And then the last piece, I'm going to show you how to use that same meeting agenda in a virtual meeting. With all of us having to work virtual, it's really important that we can continue to have those effective meetings in a virtual setting. So I guess to start a little bit about us, EOS, what I do, I'm an EOS implementer, and EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and it's designed to help you get what you want from your business. It does that by giving you a complete set of tools, simple, powerful tools, and a proven process to get those in place. And we do three things. One is vision and traction and healthy. So vision from the standpoint of getting all of your leadership team on the same page of where you're going and how you're going to get there. Traction is building discipline and accountability and getting everybody executing on that vision. And healthy is building a functional, cohesive, healthy leadership team. So all of the things within the EOS system are designed to do those. Ultimately, where the leadership team goes, the whole company will follow, and we get you to a point where everybody in your company is clear on the vision and buys into it, that they're executing on that vision with discipline and accountability and moving forward as a healthy, functional team towards your vision. Now, ultimately, it is designed for you to get everything you want out of your business. So you can see everything that's going on. You have a true pulse, whether you're at work or not. So what I'm going to be teaching today is just a single one of those tools. It's a really powerful one, and it's called the L10 Meeting, where a lot of that accountability and discipline really comes down to the ground, and you're getting what you need to get done on a weekly basis. So I'm going to transition into a quick overview of the model. But I guess I have a question. You guys don't have to answer this out loud, but at least answer it in your head. I want you to think about how effective your internal meetings are. 1 through 10, 10 being best. And what I'm going to be teaching you today will take you from whatever level and effectiveness you currently are to a level 10, to where everybody who shows up says, yes, that was the best hour and a half that I spent all week. We accomplished a lot. We solved issues, and it no longer becomes a drag and something that's not worth your time. So quick overview of the EOS model. Discovery that we have is that every entrepreneur business owner is dealing with 136 issues at once. We're just very busy. And as we strengthen these 6 components, everything's going to start to just fall into place. First key component is vision. That's simply getting everybody on the same page with where you're going and how you're going to get there. And we do have a couple tools I'm not going to get into today, but I want to get an overview so you have some context of where this level 10 fits in. The second key component is people. You can't achieve your vision without great people, and we cut through everything that you've heard from A players to superstars to get down to the root of what great people is in your specific company. The third key component is data. This is running your company on pure numbers and real information, cutting through egos and feelings and those decisions that get made in entrepreneurial companies that are kind of spur of the moment, but really running everything on real data. The fourth component is issues. Once you have a strong vision, people and data components, it makes your whole company transparent. And there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of imperfections. And great teams, great leadership teams become very good and knocking them out forever. There is an issues component in L10. I'm going to be teaching issues and our IS component is process. This is, again, all the most important things in your company done the same way every single time and getting everybody trained on that, which makes it scalable. It makes it easier to run, ultimately makes you more profitable, and you just have a better business. Then the sixth key component is traction. And this is executing with discipline and accountability everywhere you look, with everybody in your company, however many employees you have, all working towards your vision. And this is where we're going to spend the time today. This weekly meeting pulse and a level 10 is what I'm going to be teaching. But there's so many companies have this amazing vision that never becomes reality, and it's a lack of strength in this traction component of execution and discipline and driving accountability through the company. And I find when I'm working with clients that this ends up being, on a weekly basis, one of the most important things that they take away from our work, and it really brings it down to the ground. Oftentimes this is, most of the time, I would say this is the weakest link in the 6 key components. So as we strengthen these, we're aiming for 100% strong. We use a scientific but subjective model of 0 to 100%. We know that 100% is really unachievable. That's what we're shooting for. We're really going for 80%. We find that most companies are running closer to 20% strong in these key components, succeeding despite themselves. But when all 6 components are strong, everything will start to fall in place and be crystal clear and transparent, and you'll be moving forward and achieving that vision. So that's the EOS model. The level 10 meeting, we're ready to dive into that. So every great meeting starts on the same day, same time, has the same agenda, starts on time, and ends on time. This gives you consistency with all of your people, that you're not scheduling meetings, it's not an unknown, it's a very known. So every great meeting starts with these 5 pieces. When we get into the agenda, we start with a segue. And a segue is just good news. This is trying to psychologically breaking you away from working in the business to working on the business. And so everybody comes and they'll give good news, both personal and professional. It takes about 5 minutes. These next 3 sections are all reporting. So we do the scorecard, a ROC review, and customer employee headlines. The whole thing takes about 15 minutes, and it's designed to get the reporting section out of the way on your meeting, so you're seeing all the most important stuff. I'm going to start with the first one, which is the scorecard. So you build a scorecard that has all the 5 to 15 driving numbers, the most important things in your company, that when you look at this, you know that you're either on track or you're off track. So in this level 10 meeting, we go through this scorecard. I'll briefly walk through each piece of it. The first one is who is accountable for making this weekly number happen every single week. The second column is measurables. This is just defining very clearly what we're measuring, the 5 to 15 most important driving pieces of your business. And then the third one is the goal. A very clear, if we're hitting this goal on a weekly basis, we're going to be on track to hit our 90-day numbers, our 1-year goals, and ultimately achieve that vision. We couple that with 13 weeks of trailing data, so you can see trends and patterns at a glance. Now, we do this at the leadership team level. Ultimately, the scorecard gets applied into every department as well, where every department is running their own scorecard numbers with the most important 5 to 15 numbers that are going to get them where they need to go. So the scorecard takes about 5 minutes. Again, this is solely a reporting function. If any of these numbers are off track, we will, instead of talking about it at this time, down into our issue solving track, which is a part of the meeting we'll get, but just reporting. So the next piece is our ROC review. ROCs are simply 90-day business priorities. So we've made very clear what our business priorities are. We call them ROCs, and that's 3 to 7 company ROCs, the most important 3 to 7 things that your company has to achieve this quarter. And then we do 3 to 7 individual rocks for each team member. So everybody has at least one. With the leadership team, we go for 3 to 7 most important things that they have to get done in the next 90 days. These are on track and off track only. If these company priorities, these rocks are on track, we don't have to talk about them here, but if they're off track, you drop this down to the issues list. And so through this meeting, we're populating our issues list that we're going to work towards solving. So this rock review takes about 5 minutes. Again, fairly quick. This is just a reporting section. I'm on track or I'm off track with my quarterly goals. After your rock review, you do a customer employee headlines. This is just the headlines, a 1 sentence, making sure all of our customers, our employees are happy. If there are any issues here, again, this is just reporting. Drop that down to the issues list because we're going to have a lot of time to solve issues. And solving issues is what ultimately makes this a great meeting. So customer employee headlines around the table, communicating, make sure everybody knows what they need to know, and bringing and marking those issues down as they come up. Then we introduce a to-do list, and this is where we have weekly accountability. These are 7-day action items. So each member of the team commits when they get a to-do that I'm going to get this done in 7 days. To-dos are coming off and on weekly. This is a dynamic document. This whole agenda stays on one page. To-dos are going on, and once they're done, they're coming off. So it becomes very dynamic. Things are moving. 90% of the to-dos need to be done to be having a successful L10 and moving forward. If you're not getting 90% done, you have most likely an accountability problem that you'll need to deal with if people aren't doing what they say they're going to do. But again, this drives transparency on the to-do list and accountability and discipline to do what you say you're going to do. From the to-do list, we're going to move down to the issue solving track. This is 60 minutes in a 90-minute meeting. This is where people are going to walk away saying, yes, we solved the problem for the long haul. So I'm going to get into IDS a little bit deeper here and show you what that means. So in the model, when the vision, people, and data components are strengthened, you're going to have a lot of issues, and we put those down on an issues list. We're building a mentality that everybody in the company, when an issue comes up, can get issues on this issues list. Also, through your level 10, as you're going down through your rocks and your scorecard, your customer headlines, if anything's off track, you're populating this issues list. You're dropping that down, and when we have all of these issues, we find that even great leadership teams, when they put an issue in front of them, instead of identifying really the root cause of that issue or ever even solving anything, they end up just discussing the heck out of it. So we've created a issue solving track called IDS, which stands for Identify, Discuss, and Solve. Now, if you get stuck in discussing, if you've had that experience, you will, by running this issue solving track, you're going to find the magic in that. Usually that issue that's on the list is actually a symptom of something deeper. So before you actually try and solve an issue, you want to step back and really have the whole team try to identify what's the cause of this. Like, we want to ultimately solve this for the long haul, but you got to, around table, discuss what is the root cause here. Like, step discussion. Get everybody's opinion, get everybody's option on the table. Don't forget ourselves. There's no. You quickly move to solve, and solving usually is a decision of some sort. You're going to have a to-do that goes on the to-do list that somebody commits to getting something done that's going to solve this issue for the long term. And you're going to have a lot of issues on your list, but you have to prioritize. So we only take 3 at a time. We choose the top number, the first issue that we just have to solve this week, choose the most important ones, knock out one, IDS that, and then move on to 2. And as long as you're prioritizing and always focusing on the right issue and the most important thing, you're going to be doing the right thing and your time's going to be effective. Sometimes you might only get through one issue. If it's a big, meaty issue in an hour-long meeting, you're going to get to the point where you can get through 3, 6, 9 issues with your leadership team, truly solving these for the long-term good of the company. 60 minutes is dedicated to that. If you prioritize properly, take your time as much as you need. One thing we find is that when you're identifying the root cause of the problem, once you've truly identified what it is, you're already 80% of the way to solving that problem. So your discussions can be fairly quick. What options do we have? And then moving towards a decision and a to-do. And then we always conclude the 5 minutes before the meeting's over. We recap our to-do list, making sure it's really clear what everybody's committing to get done in the next 7 days. If there's any cascading messages, which are things that need to be broadcast out to your organization, and then a 1 through 10 rating. Basically, how did we do today? 10 being the best. If there's anything below an 8, you stop and you say, okay, why? And this is a self-correcting. So you want to get everyone on your team to give you some feedback. So week after week, you're running better and better level 10 meetings and making it worth everybody's time. So that is the level 10 meeting. It's a 90-minute meeting, and it's meant to be held every single week, same time, with the same people, designed around your leadership team. This meeting gets pushed down in each department. You can customize it slightly at the departmental level to make sure that it's the right information that you're doing, but the basic principles stay the same. So we're going to move on to how you do this virtually. And before the pandemic started, I actually started running a weekly level 10 meeting with a company in San Diego that's one of my clients. And so I've actually been doing this virtually before we actually had to. And I've found that it works great, surprisingly well. If you really stick to the agenda, you stay on track. The way of doing that is through Zoom, through Join Me. It's just a screen share, just like I'm doing here today. Any of the formats will work perfectly fine for it. You put that level 10 agenda on one page. So this agenda here is written up. I use a Google Drive document, and it makes it super simple. When it gets to scorecard, I will flip over to our scorecard that's populated. When it gets to rocks, I pull up all of our agreed upon company business priorities for the next 90 days and individual, and we'll just jump that to the screen. Customer employee headlines can be done real easily. The to-do list as a dynamic document is actually better. To-dos are meant to be being added to this list and taken away when they're done. And I've found virtually you can actually do that in real time with everybody's focus on the same document. So how the to-dos are supposed to work works better virtually. Issues are actually the same way. As you're moving through your agenda with the scorecard and the rocks and the customer employee headlines, you can populate your issues list real the same document through that screen share. It works phenomenally well. There are more 10 scores on the meetings that I run virtually than I actually do in person. I don't know what that says about me in person, but it works really well to do it virtually. So that is the level 10 meeting. 5-minute segue, get out of working in the business, get working on the business. Good news from everybody. Go through your scorecard, 5 to 15 most important numbers that are driving your company forward to make sure you're on track. A 5-minute rock review, business priorities that you've agreed are the most important things that your company needs to get done personally and as a company. Headlines, employees, customers, are we happy? And all the issues get dropped down to the IDS, to the issues list. Recap the to-do list, drive accountability and discipline, people doing what they say they're going to do in a 7-day period, and spend the bulk of that time solving issues, identifying the root cause, discussing, and then moving towards a long-term solution that's going to make that problem go away forever. And then always conclude on time. You don't want these meetings stacking on someone else's agenda for the day. You really have to start on time and end on time and respect everybody else's schedule and what they have to get done. Don't let this flow into that and self-correct in the end. So I have some next steps. This isn't meant just to be a seminar. This isn't meant for you to say, hey, that's a great idea, great job. This is meant for you to actually implement this in your company. And the most effective way to do that, since probably your whole team's not on here, is you need to share this with them. So there's a video up. I'm going to put this in the chat if I can figure out the GroupMe chat. This is my first time on GroupMe. I usually use Zoom. That you can take with you. If you watch this 7-minute video with your team before your meeting, everybody will get it right away. You don't have to teach them. So I'm going to take this whole section here. Well, Todd, maybe you can help me with figuring out how to post that on there properly. But I want you guys to have this. And
that URL up there, John. I'll chat it out here.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. I'm an professional EOS implementer, so I work with companies to ultimately get them what they want from their company. This is one of the tools that does this. The whole model of vision, people, data, issues, process, and traction is what I do. I'm a teacher of EOS. I coach leadership teams to become their best, and I facilitate the open and honest discussions, the hard things, and try and build healthy, functional, productive teams to ultimately achieve your vision. I do offer a free 90-minute EOS overview for your team. I can get everybody on board. It takes about 90 minutes to show you everything that the EOS model encompasses. But this tool that I'm teaching today, use it. It's powerful. It will help you run a better meeting and start to gain traction towards what you're trying to accomplish. I can open up for questions here. Todd, do you have anything that you want to?
Before we jump over to questions, I just want to say a couple of things. So one, we'll have a recording of this, at least I'm attempting to, and we'll have it up on our website. So if you ever need to come back to this link, you'll be able to find it there. I'll have some information with the recording as well. And then just one thing on our experience, that the consistent addressing of the issues has probably been the biggest thing with EOS for us. It took us about 3 to 6 months for the level 10 meeting to really crystallize how we were using it and doing it and what everything meant and how we're supposed to take advantage of it. But through that entire time, identifying and resolving issues was something we started from the very beginning, and has just got a chat. It's been kind of a game changer for the business. And then additionally, those issues with all this other information, the vision, everything, with all those issues as being part of a bigger vision, makes it even more powerful. So it's been really cool. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and then if anyone has questions, we can take those questions. Thanks, John.